Roman, thank you for joining us on the Sound of Social podcast. I know you're very, very busy, but thank you for taking time out. How's your week been?
My week was good so far. Very, as you said, very busy at the moment. Lots of digital activities at the moment. Has become a lot more.
So, anyone listening or watching that might not be familiar with you, if we can just get a bit of background about yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm uh, I'm a marketing and sales expert doing things like consulting for companies, for bigger companies, for medium-sized companies. I'm I used to be a speaker at a time where there were platforms that you could speak from, which is at the moment a bit reduced because due to COVID, the platforms have disappeared in a way, or many of them. And so I found a lot of time to write books, and I have been publishing, I don't know, lots of books, 15 to 20 books in different languages, which is also the topic that led us two together. Huh? That's why we came together,
And
because of my books.
and and so when we were researching the type of guests we wanted on, when my team looked into this, they came across your book, which they found very, very interesting. Obviously, the book was titled "What the Bleed Should I Post?" So, what led you to writing this book? What was the mindset behind this?
Actually, quite often it happens in life. So at the beginning, it was a blog article, a blog post. And I said, okay, this could be a nice freebie for my readers. Because why did I write this blog? As often because I had a problem myself. I asked myself, what should I post? Again, because you have to fill up all these channels. And so I wrote a blog, and then I made a small freebie with, I don't know, 43 ideas what to post. And 2 years later, out of this freebie, a book developed itself in a way.
And so because you've got such experience in this sector, Roman, how do you feel content has changed in the last 3 years from a brand point of view?
Very interesting question, Bilal. Um, First of all, it has become easier to make, let's say, perfect designed content, because there are lots of tools, many of them free of charge, where you can cut video and make nice graphics, etc. etc. And I have the impression that people are sometimes are filled up with too many perfect looking content. And so, for example, if you make if I make a blog post and write a lot of interesting things in there, people don't care too much sometimes. But then you shoot a photo of your, I don't know, of your shoes, because they might be red, and this photo gets a lot more attention than a long blog post. So I think people very like non-perfect content a lot more. That's one thing. Then what we see all the time is video at the moment, which
Hmm.
has become a lot more important the last couple of years. And I myself, I'm getting used to it. I was not used to it, but as I've been involved now for, I don't know, a month or so in TikTok, completely new platform for me, everything different, and I had to learn how to make short videos and how to convey my message in, let's say, 30 or 45 seconds. So this is also something I see all over, not only on TikTok, but TikTok forces you to do this. Um,
And
and
do
yeah,
you, sorry, go on, sorry, go on,
no, no,
please
no, go
finish.
ahead. Go ahead, it's fine. I was finished.
Do you feel when you're looking at as content has evolved from as you know, where it started off as a writing and then it's become more visual, whether that's video or picture based, and there's so much content out there. Do you feel brands copy each other rather than innovating?
Uh, let's say there is a gray zone in between somewhere. Of course, actually, we cannot help but copying. Why? Because we see all this content all the time, and of course you get influenced. And sometimes I see myself creating something, um, which I thought that I have been creating, but afterwards I see, oh, this has been already created before from somebody else. So sometimes it's not easy to be to make something completely new, but that's actually it's not a problem. Copy paste is not good, but copy adapt paste is, from my point of view, a very good thing. For to give you an example, I
Hmm.
I have been it's years ago, I don't know, 6 years or so. I have had a viral post showing a lady selling fruit on a fruit stand and vegetables. And I said, what I did is I wrote two signs on cardboard. The one saying people who bought, and I made an arrow to, I don't know, strawberries, and a bit below that another sign also bought, and then I made another arrow. So I copied from Amazon. Everybody knows that people who bought also bought and but put it in a completely different context of offline, on a simple fruit stand on a market. And this picture
I see.
like, was liked a lot. I don't know, it went, I had more than 1 million likes and
Wow.
100 shares, and it went to the US, and I was in museums with that picture, and so on and so on. Small little picture, copy, adapt, paste. And I think copy, adapt, paste is a good thing.
So it's good to take inspiration, but like you said, it's not good to
Yeah,
copy and paste. It's more you be inspired by somebody, adapt, and then use it to bring it out in your own style.
yeah,
With people's attention. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, go.
yeah. I think it's actually, you should do this on purpose to get inspired, to see what is somebody doing there and how can I use it here in a completely different context. And sometimes very interesting ideas happen like that.
Very true. Very true. With people's attention spans are decreasing, do you
Yeah,
think long form content will eventually just die out and it'll just it won't there won't be a need for it?
no, no. But uh, one thing, yes, you're right. People's attention span are decreasing. Also mine, for example. I read books that actually a magazine or something, a long article, very, very difficult. Very difficult. I catch myself checking my, I don't know, TikTok, Facebook, etc. accounts lots and lots of times a day, but far too often, of course. So attention spans are decreasing, but on the other hand, there will always be a market and a use for long formats. For example, if I today I will have to make a trip with by car for 1 hour to a meeting and 1 hour back, and during such a trip, I will consume content normally quite often on YouTube, of course, not watching, just listening while driving with my car. But there I like long content forms, half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, even longer, as long as the content is interesting. So I think it's not mainly a question of length, but a question of how interesting is the content for the one who watches or reads it.
And how do you see content marketing evolving then going forward in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
I think we are driven a lot by new platforms coming on the or entering the game. For example, TikTok is a very good example. At the moment, new, completely different, uh, booming, strange. Actually, I don't know yet what to do with it. I'm collecting fans, but let's see. Um, and for example, this platform drives video a lot. Just to give an example, I think in the future, every entrepreneur, especially, of course, agencies as well, but also small entrepreneurs like myself, have to learn how to use video as a means to express themselves and their messages, which was not absolutely necessary more or less up till now or a year or 2 years ago. So we are driven by new platforms, and of course this has influence on the sort of content you can do. TikTok is 30-45 seconds, maybe it will be longer in a couple of years.
It's just gone to 10 minutes now.
Yeah, it has gone to 10 minutes now. I read that, but normally
Yeah.
you don't find yet such long videos, but
Yeah.
who
Very
knows?
true.
Who knows? So it's evolving. And to give a completely different example, um, just yesterday I had a coaching session because I want to work on my LinkedIn channel. And I had a coaching session of a colleague of mine who is an expert on that one. And I thought my initial idea was to okay, video, it will be video. I have to adapt my, I don't know, the video content I have already for LinkedIn format. Completely wrong. Not that it would not work, but he showed me he showed me one special example of a guy who is doing slideshows that you can
Oh,
not not automatic slideshows, but slideshows where you say, okay, click, click, next one, next one, next one. Why? The argument is because then you can transport a lot of content, but people quite often do not want to listen to a video when they are in the office, for example, because it's too loud, and they can consume it in their own speed. A video, not, but a slideshow, yes. And he is having a sensational success with that. So something completely, actually nothing new. I mean, slideshow is actually very old style in a way, but could be, and I will try it. I will do it. It could be a very interesting form to produce content. So it's changing all the time.
yeah. And so, how important do you think, as a brand, is to select rather than being on every channel, is to select the right channels for your business or brand?
Yeah, very very important. The question is, how do you select it? Of course, it should be a channel where you find your potential customers. Number one, extremely important criteria, because if you won't find them there, doesn't make a lot of sense. Uh, the second thing is, it should be a channel that also fits what you are doing. For example, if you are, I don't know, if you're a lawyer, Pinterest could be difficult for you. But TikTok could be extremely interesting. So it depends on the platform, of course, and on the way how you can produce in what medium you can produce your messages. And what I also see is, it should also be a platform that you have a good feeling with in a way. I mean, you can get used to it, but if you absolutely, I don't know, hate TikTok or hate Facebook, it will be more difficult for you. Unless you take an agency who does everything perfectly for you, okay, then different story. Yes.
And what brands do you see that do content marketing really well, in your opinion? Whether that's locally, nationally, what you've
Yeah,
seen
it's
that.
actually it's difficult to name brands, especially also because I'm mainly in the German speaking market.
But
But
even in your market,
yeah, even now, for
even
example, I saw the Loans and Savings Bank in Düsseldorf, Germany.
okay,
And normally banks are very traditional, very, I don't know, boring, mainly in
of
all their
course.
marketing. But they're having a very successful TikTok channel, and they are bringing a lot of informative videos on finances, what to watch out, and how do they show young people there. And it's not it's not the advertising style at all. It's really content, producing useful content. Or for example, another brand I'm following is Stepstone. It's an international personnel consultant. I think they're also in the UK. um, and they are doing a lot, partly very funny videos on how to, if you're invited for a new job, for a job interview, what can you do, and what should you do, and what should you not do. And some are are funny, showing people who do strange things and so on. So I think it's and what is an important message, it's not a question of size anymore and of finances, of budgets. It's a question of creativity. And it could be a very, as my photo with the fruit stand shows, it could be a very simple small idea where you can produce one content in a minute or half an hour that is really really very successful. And I think those brands will be successful that stop trying to make ads on these channels and start trying to produce interesting, funny, and helpful content, and not as Gary Vaynerchuk says, chap 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 chap, and I would continue chap 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 chap, right hook.
There's another bank in the UK called Monzo that do it really well as well. They've got a similar approach to you. Do you see with the demand of content increasing day by day per platform, do you see eventually most businesses just becoming media production houses and just pumping
Yeah,
out content?
yeah, yeah. I think Gary Vaynerchuk said that once in one of his speeches, and I like this idea a lot. I think we all have to become media houses in a way. We have to convey our messages. We have to put it in proper content, and I think most of the companies aren't aware yet. I have to admit, but at the end, in the next couple of years, every company who wants to survive in this game has to become a media house, at least as well. Is that
And
also your
which
point?
social media, yeah, which I agree with you. I totally agree with you because it's already becoming that. If you look at the bigger brands,
Mm,
the S&P 500 companies or the FTSE 100, they're already doing that, and it'll trickle down.
yeah.
Plus, with the evolving element of the phone, it's much easier to create. So I do agree with that. I think that that is going to happen, which kind of nicely leads me to my next question. Which social media platforms do you see increasing and dying?
Mm.
So which ones do you see getting more popular and which one do you see kind of dying?
I mean, you probably have, as an expert in that field, you probably have exact figures, but just from my point of view, let's say it like that, and also as a user of social media, um, Facebook has become sort of boring for me. I consume Facebook as a means to follow the news in a way, news channel or so. Um, Instagram has grown up in a way. It has changed a lot. It has
Do
probably
you
is the
use Instagram?
I use Instagram. I just relaunched my channel and still try to improve. I'm not perfect at all yet in that field, but yeah, I use it. I don't use Facebook a lot. I focus on Instagram at the moment. I started TikTok a month ago,
Okay.
just not having the idea yet to really have I don't know a commercial benefit of it directly. I try to get reach. I try to learn the medium. I try to learn the short videos. I'm getting better at that, and I find, from my point of view, TikTok is by far the most dynamic platform at the moment. You still there. You really still. You are also on TikTok. I saw. Uh, you can really have a viral content, viral videos from day one,
Hmm.
and it happens like that, and the next one is not viral at all. You can collect fans quite easily still. I think it will change in the next 2 or 3 years probably, but at the moment it's extremely dynamic. What I see as well is that LinkedIn has become quite dynamic in the last, I don't know, 2 3 years. In the German-speaking countries, we also have Xing, which is more or less the German LinkedIn, but it always has been very boring and let's say, German in a way. Sorry, Germans, if you're listening to that one. But now it's really boring. LinkedIn is a lot better and a lot more dynamic. These are the three channels I'm focusing on at the moment: Instagram, TikTok as an experiment, and LinkedIn. Also relaunching LinkedIn at the moment, trying to get better there.
Yes, I agree. I think them three. I think there's another one, new one coming out. That's sorry, that's just it's been out a couple of years. It's called the Dots. That's a business to business platform which I would keep a close eye on, as well as I think
Interesting.
YouTube is quite interesting in what they're trying to do. But yes, I agree. TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram are quite still the powerhouses
Yeah.
out there. And
And of course, sorry to interrupt you. Of course, for special businesses, also other channels might be interesting. For example, I hear very good for special business. I hear very good things of Pinterest. I know people with very small businesses who get 1,000 visitors or more on their web page on their website per day from Pinterest. I never managed to even get, I don't know, 100 a day. But it could work very well. But it's very, let's say, very special.
yes, and it comes back to what you said was finding out who your customer is and then selecting the platforms according to that. Because otherwise, if you don't know where your customers are, um, you don't know where to find them really, then what platforms you are kind of is irrelevant then. And what can brands do from a content point of view to differentiate themselves from the competition? What
Mm,
steps should they do when they're developing their content strategy?
mm. Probably they should start some steps before that, and checking how they can differentiate as a brand uh, from other companies. I think once you get that clear, uh, and the main message there normally is to focus more. Uh, Many brands spread out too wide, so the message is focus more, and then from that from that platform on, then produce focused content. And I think how can you differentiate? One thing is, do not take yourself too seriously. Especially
Yeah.
the bigger brands always have a problem there. I've been working for big brands in my career years ago, and a small one-man show can produce great content that goes viral, where the big brands still have meetings on that piece of content and checking it with their legal department whether they can do such a thing or not. So don't take yourself too serious. Um, Steal from other companies, yes, but in a way, as we discussed, copy, adapt, paste. Um, Let yourself inspire by others, but don't copy them. Humor, if you can manage to be funny in a way, it's always the biggest thing content wise, and especially um, which is not easy because we have grown up with all these things for decades. Stop making ads on social media and start a focus completely on producing interesting and helpful, and if you can, funny content. I think if you can manage that, you will be very successful as a brand on all these platforms.
And if anybody wants to follow you, find out, get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I think the easiest thing is to Google my name. It's Kmenta. Bit of a difficult name coming somewhere from, I don't know, Czechia or so, some generations ago. And there you can find me on all these platforms we discussed. Especially, I would be interested in having new contacts on TikTok because it's such a new and funny and interesting thing. So if you can join me there, but wherever I'm findable, and I'm interested to meet all of you from wherever you listen to.
It's been a pleasure to have you on. We will definitely put your links within the description. And we'll also put the link for your books and your LinkedIn. And it's been an absolute pleasure to deep dive into your thinking process. Thank you for all the advice. And hopefully, we can do this again very soon.
Well, it was a pleasure for me as well.
Thank you so much, Roman.
Thank you.